I think it goes without saying that I'm a pretty big Pokemon fan. Alright? That's pretty obvious, right? You can tell? Alright. Well, there's a problem when even I question the full worth of a Pokemon game. Let's Go looked so god-awful before release. I wasn't even gonna buy it day one, and I've bought Pokemon games day one since Soul Silver. Since then, every main series game I bought day one. And Let's Go, I was like, nope, I'm not paying $60 for this. This looks trash. This looks incredibly mediocre. I'm just gonna hold out and just buy a used copy made for like $40 and I'll review it then. But I didn't do that because, of course, I just have to play a Pokemon game on day one. So I pre-ordered it. I gave it a fair shot on its release day. And you know what? Pokemon Let's Go was actually pretty good. Probably one of my favorite Pokemon games. Maybe even my favorite game of 2018. I'm not sure. But I will say, I think all the hate this game has been receiving is unjustified because this game doesn't have any major problems that justifies that hate. This game's problems start before we even begin playing it. My biggest concern before release, besides the obvious lack of content, was this game's concept, a middle ground between Go and traditional Pokemon games. Let's Go did nothing to convince me that this wasn't a bad idea, or at the very least a flawed one. Let's Go is trying to be a bridge between the two styles of games, where the space in between the two you can simply jump over. There's no need for a bridge. Pokemon is already a simple franchise to get into. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be so focused on having kids as its main target audience. Optional stuff like competitive battling, breeding, or even shiny hunting can be complicated, but everything you do in the main story isn't. If you want a simple version of Pokemon, we have Go, which already simplifies Pokemon's gameplay. Catching is simply aiming your Pokeball correctly and hoping the mon stays inside, and battling you just tap your phone screen. Let's Go was made for Go players to get a taste of a more authentic Pokemon experience and capitalize on that massive market. Except Game Freak didn't have to do this for Go players to go out and try what a proper Pokemon game feels like. Leading up to the release, Sun and Moon were the most pre-ordered games in Nintendo history. Not just Pokemon, but Nintendo as a whole. And this was in 2016. The very same year, Pokemon Go released and made Pokemon a worldwide phenomenon again. I don't think it's a coincidence that Sun and Moon had record-breaking sales right off the heels of Go's peak popularity. Old school fans who perhaps hadn't played a Pokemon game in years, or maybe even new fans altogether, took notice a new pair of Pokemon games were coming out soon and decided to try them out thanks to their invigorated interest in the franchise. There wasn't a need for a weird Frankenstein's monster of a game to be there to push that audience towards the core Pokemon franchise. With that said, Game Freak still felt the need to remake Kanto a second time and gave us this. Was it worth the effort? No, it was not. Let's Go does have some good ideas, I will admit, and I'll get to those later, but there is still a lot of missed potential here. Things like riding Pokemon are fun, but you can't help but think it'll be so much better if you could properly fly around Kanto like how you could do so in ORAS with your Latios or Latias. But even with me calling it fun, Let's Go somewhat fails at that as well because of the lack of a toggle button. For example, if you're in your Charizard and reach one of these gates, you can't simply fly in and just cross the other side. You have to pause, go into your party menu, put Charizard back in its ball, quit out, run through the gate, and go back into your party menu if you want to continue riding your Pokemon. This breaks the pace of the game, especially since the point of riding your Pokemon is to make traversing faster, alongside simply being fun, of course. It's not so much me being lazy, but wondering why Game Freak failed to implement something as simple as a toggle to get on and off your Pokemon. Sun and Moon had a toggle button already, so why can't Let's Go have one as well? The soundtrack also disappoints. Yes, the Kanto songs we all know by now sound their best here, but we still have no unique Elite Four theme, with them sharing the Gym Leader theme. But what is a even bigger tragedy than that is how red, blue, and green don't have their own themes, or at least one they can share among them. Having them use the generic trainer battle theme feels like a missed opportunity to add some fun new tracks to the game. Sun and Moon also didn't give red and blue their own theme, but I give them a pass because Sun and Moon's soundtrack has a ton of great new songs that can let that gripe slide. Finally, in this segment of failed potential, let's talk about the Pokédex. I understand Game Freak trying to keep it simple for this game, but a part of me doesn't like the fact that if I were to use a Golbat on my team, I'll be stuck with that, knowing full well a cooler, evolved form exists which I could be using. It's not like Johto or other regions for that matter don't exist in this world either. Beating Serena again after becoming champion has her reference the events of the Johto games, and the Alolan forms are something you can trade for. It's not like how you could chalk up past games not having Pokemon from future regions as simply alternate universes. But if I'm going to be honest, all these examples are just minor gripes. Sure, it would have been nice if there was a toggle button, some new kick-ass tracks, and a way to further evolve some of the Kanto mons, but they aren't big enough reasons for me to find this game such a failure. Master Trainers are padding. Game Freak didn't feel like adding an actual post-game, like a new area you could explore, like the Kanto remake from well over 10 years ago. So instead, you get 145 boring battles you could do. I thought it would be a cool thing to catch some random crappy Pokemon, teach it strong moves, level it up a bit, and throw it into battle for a reward. But that gimmick grew stale really quickly, and I only did the 6 minimum fights needed to unlock the red fight. You don't even get a reward besides some title you can show off online. And speaking of the online, let me shit on that too. What the fuck is this? Seriously, what the fuck? Okay, what the fuck is this password system? You can't even directly connect with a friend unless both of you decide on a password and just pray to God that you connect with each other and not with some stranger also trying to do the same thing. Like, I don't understand. Is the Switch too complicated for Pokemon to figure out proper matchmaking? I mean, thank God this is the casual fucking game. If this thing is in the proper Pokemon game coming out later this year, I'm gonna put a fucking bullet in my head, because this online system is somehow worse than the Sun and Moon Online Festival Plaza. I mean, I don't even think you can bring back the system that Gen 6 had, because how the Switch works and, you know, you don't have 2 screens. But how does Game Freak manage to make online worse every generation? Like, Gen 6 already had it good. Okay, this is kind of becoming a rant because it's off script. Gen 6 had perfect online. Gen 7 kind of botched it, but it was like tolerable. Let's Go system is just god awful. It's just god awful. Thank God this is a second rewrite, because I almost forgot to put this in the original script, and this online system needs to be called out for the garbage it is. What was I talking about? Master Trainers, yeah, Master Trainers, they also suck. The one good thing that came out of Master Trainers, I will say, oh my god, Let's Go sucks so much. Oh. The one good thing that came from the Master Trainer battles was how I hacked the shit out of the Pikachu Master Trainer. This poor soul, this poor lass and her Pikachu, they just got... Gee, I mean, you're just watching the footage right now. Oh my god. But that was probably my second biggest highlight. Just hacking the shit out of this Pikachu Master Trainer. Which then leads to the question. What was my biggest highlight with this game? Well, dear viewers, my fellow viewers, meet my shiny Venusaur. This shiny Venusaur was a hunt that took about 4 hours, I think. In the middle of the night, And to not feel my brain just melt at 5 in the morning, I put some best of the worst in the background so I can listen to while I look for my shiny Bulbasaur. I thought shiny hunting would be this game's saving grace. We have the Psychic in the Celadon Poke Center, which lets you pick the nature you want for a shiny you're hunting for, or for any Pokemon in general. We have the new spawn mechanic, where now Pokemon spawn into the overworld like how they do in Go, which replaces the frankly outdated random encounter system. The new system not only mostly eliminates the need to buy repels, but effectively adds additional rerolls to get a shiny when multiple Pokemon are on screen. The new lure item ties in with this mechanic as it makes more Pokemon appear, including rare spawns and even shiny Pokemon. The catch combo system is introduced, where having a high streak of catching a certain Pokemon increases your odds of finding a shiny version of it, as well as it having good IVs. After a 31 catch combo, every Pokemon of that same species you capture is guaranteed 5 perfect IVs. All of these are fantastic additions to the Pokemon series. Everything I just mentioned I hope stays in Pokemon games moving forward, except for maybe catch combos, where they can repurpose them as knockout combos or something like that, where now you simply knock the Pokemon out instead of having to catch it. And maybe after 31 knockouts, you're guaranteed 6 perfect IVs instead of 5. So if these are all positive changes, why do I not think shiny hunting is Let's Go saving grace? You have to buy lures, buy Pokeballs for catch combos, and have to pay the Psychic each time you ask for a desired nature. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of money. You do have several methods to earn back cash, but this cycle of shiny hunting, farming money, etc. gets old fast. I don't know how streamers do it, but I guess they're used to the repetition by now. This game came so close to having a perfect post-game activity to make up for the absolute lack of content, but it even failed at that, and it's all because of the catching system in place. If this game didn't try to be like Go so much, and instead used the traditional wild encounter system, or a combo system like the one I suggested, based on knockouts can be used, it would make shiny hunting so much cheaper, because now you're only going to use a Pokeball on the shiny you're hunting for, instead for each individual mon you need to get your catch combo up to 31 and beyond. The game's forced motion controls also add to the misery of this game's encounter system. If the mon is right in the middle of the screen, then it's pretty easy to catch them. Just move your arm, holding the Joy-Con from a 90 to 100 degree angle. If the mon is jumping left to right, then you start to have problems. I could never find a guaranteed way to aim my ball left or right. If there's a proper way, feel free to tell me, though it's not like I plan to go back and play some more Let's Go to put that knowledge to use. These issues come if you play your game on the TV. If you play in handheld mode, catching mons is much easier thanks to the Switch's built-in gyro, meaning you can simply point your Switch to where the mon is and just press A. It would be nice if you could use a Pro Controller in docked mode, as that too has a gyro, but for whatever reason, Game Freak chose to not make it compatible with Let's Go. This essentially means it's much more optimal to play in handheld mode as opposed to docked, which ruins the whole magic of finally being able to play a main series Pokemon game on console. I honestly don't even mind they remade Kanto again. Sure, it's safe to say at this point that Pokemon Company and Game Freak have a bigger hard-on for Kanto than I do for Flannery, but I digress. I do mind the fact of what this game really is, just a cash grab that clearly lacks the heart and soul the other remakes have. Even Oraz and the blatant middle finger it gave us with this cock tease of the battle frontier, I can still say I enjoyed and can respect it. Let's Go, not as much. All jokes aside, I did enjoy my playthrough of the game. From the moment I started to becoming champion, that was fun. My Bulbasaur shiny hunt was fun. Even seeing Green make her first official appearance in a Pokemon game made me happy. Though it makes me wish they had added Yellow as well. It's just everything else was just boring and or mediocre. I will be disappointed if Game Freak continues making Let's Go games. Go ahead and remake the gens which got remade already, I don't care. Keep Go and the mainline series separate and put far more effort into crafting a meaty remake if you're going to do another. Go fans deserve better on what a real Pokemon game feels like, not the husk that Let's Go is. More hardcore fans already know of the Kanto remake we got back in Gen 3. We didn't need another one which has less content than one from over 10 years ago. But at least I can give my Pikachu this Diglett hat. And that's worth $60, right?